went out of her, and she collapsed, nearly taking down the officer. He steadied himself, went on. "And to have an attorney present." He finished Mirandizing Julia and yanked her upright by the cuffs. She cried out in pain, and I warned, "Careful! You've got witnesses!" He ignored me. I turned to the other officer, August Williams, an inspector on the SFPD fraud detail. On several occasions, I'd supplied him with leads that I'd stumbled across. "What's the charge, Augie?" I asked. "Ms. Rafael has been accused of grand theft," he replied. "Specifically, stealing and making purchases with a MasterCard belonging to—" "I'll take her downstairs," his partner said. I looked at Julia. Now she stood erect, dwarfing the arresting officer by some 2 inches. Her severe features were stony, her dark eyes blank. She didn't meet my eyes. She'd been in this situation before, as a juvenile, and knew the drill. I said, "Go with him, Jules. I'll call Glenn Solomon." At my mention of the city's top criminal defense attorney, the inspector who was ushering Julia toward the stairway paused, then glared at me. Great. A hard case, one of the type that the department was attracting and eventually having to discipline in increasing numbers. Thank God he was partnered with Williams, an even-tempered and by-the-book cop. As his partner ushered Julia down the stairway, I touched Williams's arm. "Augie," I said, "make him go easy." He nodded, his jaw set. "As you started to say," I added, "a MasterCard belonging to—" He looked down at me, a big, handsome man with rich brown skin, close-cropped gray hair, and concerned eyes that were pouched from lack of sleep. For a good cop, sleep is always in short supply. "A credit card belonging to Supervisor Alex Aguilar. He alleges she stole it from his wallet after he rejected her sexual advances last month and has used it to run up over $5,000 worth of purchases." Alex Aguilar, founder and director of Trabajo por Todos, Work for All, a Mission District job training program designed to bring the city's disadvantaged Hispanics into the mainstream. 2-term member of the city's Board of Supervisors, rumored to be positioning himself to become our first Hispanic mayor. Alex Aguilar, our former client. He'd hired us to investigate a series of thefts from the job training center. I'd assigned Julia, since she was my only Hispanic operative. When I called Aguilar after she'd brought the investigation to a satisfactory conclusion, he said he was pleased and would recommend our services to others. Now he was accusing her of grand theft. "I don't believe it," I said. Williams shrugged. "I'm sorry, Sharon, but there's more. I have a warrant to search any part of your offices that Ms. Rafael has access to." I took the document he held out as a pair of uniformed officers came up the stairway. It specified packages and merchandise from Amazon.com, Land's End, J. Jill, Coldwater Creek, Sundance, Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, and the Peruvian Connection, as well as a MasterCard in the name of A. Aguilar. The warrant was in order. "Go ahead and search," I said. I accompanied Williams and his men to the office Julia shared with Craig Moreland. Craig wasn't there, and neither were any of the items listed on the warrant. When they finished, Augie said, "What other areas does she have access to?" "All of them. I trust my employees and don't restrict them." But was I wrong to put my trust in Julia, given her history? I pushed my doubts aside and added, "We'll start with my own office." After Williams and the uniforms had left empty-handed, I said to Ted, "Get Glenn Solomon on the phone for me, please." Ted hesitated, looking at Mick, who had remained on the catwalk with him. "May we speak privately?" "Of course." We went inside his office, and he shut the door. "You didn't tell them about the mailroom," he said. "It slipped my mind." "Nothing like that slips your mind. You deliberately didn't tell them. Does that mean you think Jules is guilty?" "I don't know what to think. They must have some pretty compelling evidence to walk in here and arrest her without first asking her to come in for questioning." Ted crossed his arms, leaning against